titles? Can anyone guess? It might be difficult for you if you're blind, otherwise everyone knows. What's the title? You can see it on the screen.
Association is everything.
So there were different titles which we gave to the team planning the retreat. So many of them were voted on, and this was one of the most popular ones. And it's also one of the simpler ones in one sense, more basic topics, foundational topics. So they say in spiritual life there is ABCD. Have you heard this analogy before? ABCD of spiritual life? Lakshman knows. Anyone else? Huh? Yeah? So can anyone guess, apart from those who already know, can anyone guess what A stands for in spiritual life? Association, right? And then B? Can anyone guess? Association is very important. What else is very important in spiritual life? B. These are all English words, Books, yeah. But Lakshman already knows, so don't say anything. He already knows. You two should also know, I've told you before, but maybe some years ago. So A, B, and then C. Can anyone guess what C, apart from those two who already know the answers? Chanting, yeah, very good. And then D, can anyone guess? A new individual, can anyone guess? D, what else is very important? It's part of the four regulative principles. But you have to kind of find a word related to it with D. The fourth one is what all of you have to give me. D is for donation. No, I'm just kidding. No, D, guess what is D? Very important. If you don't follow this principle, the proper one of this, then you will not advance in spiritual life. But if you're new, you may not be following it yet. D.
Devotion.
No. Anyone guess? Okay, Lakshman, share it. Or maybe this one you forgot.
There's different. One is deity worship, but it's different. This one.
Yeah, for new people, it's not relevant. This is for very new people. Like if someone is new, you tell them the ABCD of spiritual life: association, books, chanting, and if someone is very new. Dancing is good also. But another one. Huh?
Determination.
Sorry?
Determination.
No, diet. You have to be vegetarian. And then take prasadam. So they're all correct. Lakshman is correct, Shami is correct, whoever, somebody said something. I think you said devotion. So, but this ABCD generally is given: association, books, chanting, and diet. So when I went to South America, I wanted to use it. So association is asociación, chanting is cantar, diet is dieta, but I was like, B, you can't say books in Spanish. So then we said biblioteca. Biblioteca means library. How do you say in Swedish, library?
Biblioteca.
Yeah, same, in many languages. I better turn off this, otherwise we'll be coming too many notifications all the time. So, A, B, C, D of spiritual life. So the first step in spiritual life is association. So there is one verse which explains, there are different verses which explain different stages of devotional service, but generally the most famous one is starting with Ado Shraddha. Does anyone remember this one? Our boys should remember, they studied this in Bhakti Shastri, I think. Ado Shraddha, and then next stage, Sadhu Sangha. Sadhu Sangha means the association of devotees. So before association, there is one preliminary stage which is called Shraddha. Shraddha, we will see today, is connected with association and is a prerequisite for initiation. For spiritual practice. So there are different stages given, different progressions, but that's the most famous one. Ado Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, etc., etc. That's another seminar. So association is everything. So we will continue now. If it works, I have to click on it. What's going on? Very slow. Okay, so now we will start with one activity. So hopefully there's an even number of people. So each of you just turn to somebody next to you, so groups of two, and discuss one moment, conversation, or action that happened in your life. Someone did something to you, or you did something and something changed, which had a profound effect on your life. So you have 2 minutes. So everyone found their partner? Two. There's 3 of you, so you have to join the 3 managers. And then 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. So Maharaj can go with our brother in the very back. So please, what's Prabhu's name in the back? I forgot your name already. Huh? So you can go with Maharaj. Oh, Rama needs to go.
Okay, we are uneven, we can be 3 and 1.
Okay, so you found, now we're going to start 2 minutes, otherwise it's going to go too long. So please start now. You have 2 minutes to discuss.
You understand? In your last moment, you did something for someone else, and it's like a big impact. It's helpful, you know. It makes a big difference.
Mine was nominated in a triathlon no, last year. He told me that I should start reading one verse every day. Yes, I started. And then he gave me a gift. He gave me a small, I think it was machine, like small statues. It's hard to describe it. You see
Okay, so thank you very much, everybody. So we will continue now. Thank you, everybody. So I'll just call on a couple of groups. So could you guys share? Well, okay, could you share what she told you in short?
What she told me?
Yeah, like what was one moment which was very impactful for her?
When she shows her gymnasium program.
Gymnasium?
Oh, yeah, when she shows her gymnasium program, it's like one thing.
Oh, okay.
But also that it happens every day. Like when someone says something, everything changes.
Oh, okay, thank you. And Shami, who did you speak with?
This Nima and everything.
So share one of them.
Should I share?
Yeah, you have to share like what your partner said, just to see you not talking about TikTok.
So Nima, he was saying that he had a special meeting with Satchidananda Swami, where he was encouraging him, and he gave him a small Bhagavad Gita, which he's reading. He said it was really life-changing.
Very nice.
Erwin met Naveen and Nirada Prabhu, and he also told him, gave him an instruction to read one verse every day. And then since then he's doing it, and it's also changed a lot for him.
Oh, interesting, yeah. Thank you. And then Lakshman, who did you speak with?
Prajit and Nitesh.
So just say one from what did Prajit share with you?
Prajit shared how this year actually we went out for a Sankirtan trip to the north of Sweden, and he had it was a very special moment in his life where he could like share Krishna consciousness with others.
Oh, very nice. What about Yoga Maya? What did you hear from Chandra?
Chandra told me about when she was 16, there was Pandavasena here, and there were like 3 girls who dragged her around and made her want to join everything more.
Oh, that's really nice.
Oh.
We had a nice trip this year also, like when they came. So thank you. So this exercise is very good just to think about certain moments, certain actions which we have done or happened to us, or certain things Even sometimes it's just one sentence somebody could say to you, and it can make a big impact in your life. So this is helping to exemplify the power of even small moments, even something very short but symbolic, it can have a big impact on your life. So I was reading one article. Many people nowadays, they like to discuss things related to relationships, parents, upbringing, traumas, many different things. So there was one person and he was writing how in his childhood he was always feeling like, because nowadays with the modern society, they said we're inventing all of this technology so people will be free to have more spare time. But as usual, the plutocrats always lie. So their real intention was to free people from the manual labor, so then they can engage them in other types of work and make them work even harder. Because people work longer hours now than they used to in the past, even though we have so-called free time. But anyway, nowadays the parents, they hardly spend time with children, especially if you live in the city. So many children are growing up feeling like not sufficiently loved, not having sufficient attention. So this particular individual was feeling that. So they say in life, there's 4 things which everyone needs. L-A-C-K, lack. There's 4 things which we lack in life. Do you know? Ramai knows where he left, so that's good. Did I tell you guys before? So this is a new one. So this is an acronym, L-A-C-K. Unfortunately, it wasn't part of the PowerPoint. So there's 4 things which we are missing. L, A, C, and K. Can anyone guess what L could be? It's quite easy, like very simple words. Love, yeah. And then A, can anyone guess what A is? We already just said it just a few seconds ago. Attention. Yeah. Who said attention? Yeah. Oh, yeah, very good. And then C? Care. So it's very simple. And then K is more within our sphere. Krishna, yeah. So you all got it very fast. So this actually I learned from Vicharu. He says everybody needs 3 things, love, care and attention. But then I thought it's not a very good acronym, LCA. So then I put LAC, and then we forgot K to put K there. So these are the 4 things which everyone lacks. So sometimes we think we will make lots of devotees, but if you do not give the 3 things before you give the 4th thing, then many times it doesn't have any effect. So we have to give love, attention, care, and you have to ultimately give Krishna. So therefore it said, this is Ravindra Swarup Prabhu says, he has many nice sutras. So he used to come here before for a long time. So he says this very nice quote. He says, the seeds of love are found in attention. The seeds of love, they are found in attention. Does anyone disagree? Because you cannot show love if you don't show attention, right? But it doesn't mean if you only give attention, that is love. But the seeds are found there. So in the same way, this young individual, he was saying, that his father, even though for many years in his life he felt like he never got sufficient attention, he never got sufficient love from his parent. Nowadays they're always focused in corporate, in their job, always on the phone with different clients, even at home. So then their children feel like we're not getting enough attention. So then just one sentence that he just said, he was leaving to go somewhere, the son. So the father was dropping him and he says to him that have a really nice time and take good care of yourself. Just in a very sweet and soft way. And then he says, just from this one sentence which was coming from the heart, then it completely healed all of that trauma, all of that insecurity, just immediately in one moment. He felt like, actually, no, this person does love me. But it's just some people don't know how to express it properly. So even one moment is very powerful. This is just on the material platform. You can give one person one secret that can completely transform their business, that can completely transform different aspects in their life. So what to speak of in spiritual life, the power of association. We hear the story of Aindra Prabhu. Does anyone know the story? His one moment's association with Srila Prabhupada, which changed everything for him. Can you share it loudly?
I hope I say it properly. I mean, it was right. Indra Prabhu didn't have any association with really like some darshan, some exchange with Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada just was walking by and he said Hari Bol, and Indra Prabhu took it as an instruction for his life, and he was chanting Hari Bol, chant the holy name. he was chanting.
Yeah,
So it's
exactly.
just like, I don't know if it's like this is how I remember.
Yeah, that's also how I remember that, because he used to lead kirtan, so one time Prabhupada was very grateful, so he just told him, Haribol, like this for his kirtan, and then continued walking. But because he had so little association, just from this one piece of association for 1 second, then he took that, this is my life's mission, that I will always chant the holy name and spread the holy name. So it's very nice. So unfortunately these slides are somehow messed up. Okay, there we go. So this is a very famous quote. So could somebody read it? Could Malati read it very loudly?
I am not what I think I am. I am not what you think I am. I am what I think you think I am.
So anyone heard this before?
Yes. Yeah.
So this is actually our friend from London, Ganasham Priyadas. He used to quote this in his videos. He's also known as Jay Shetty. Anybody know him? Jay Shetty?
Yes.
So this is actually teaching that a lot of the time we do not realize who we are. That we think that I'm this, I'm that, I'm this color, this is my nature, I like this. But then sometimes we care more than what we think about ourselves, we care what other people say about us. It impacts us even more. So we said, oh, this person said this about me. This one said this about me. This person glorified me in this way. This person denigrated me in this way. That affects us emotionally even more than what we think about ourselves, right? We can have an idea about ourselves, but then somebody can say something contradicting our idea, and then we become even more worried. Like, oh, maybe I'm not like this actually. So sometimes we worry. So we actually become what we think that people think we are. So I am what I think that you am, that I am. Because we start to assimilate that in our consciousness and take influence from those things. So this short quote actually tells us the power of influence of other people on our lives. People actually have much more influence and power on us than we like to admit. Actually, in this world, nobody is free. If you watch videos on YouTube, like debates by different famous people, I'm trying to remember the guy's name, I can't remember. But there's one very young guy from Oxford University. He's a very famous atheist. Doesn't you remember his name? This young guy? Very nice British guy. So he was debating, I think it was with Jordan Peterson, who is kind of a clinical psychologist, but he's also a Christian apologist, which means justifying Christianity. So he was debating with him on the topic of free will. So then I watched the video, and because ultimately, even as devotees, we have to study all of the different points of view, not that we only read Bhagavad Gita and we don't understand the world. In order to share Krishna consciousness, we have to understand everyone's point of view and then understand how we can present the Vedic conclusion, the Vedic methodology of truth. So when I was watching the video, actually I noticed that we are actually more on the side of the atheist than of Jordan Peterson, although he's a Christian. Because actually, essentially what this guy was saying, I can't remember the name, that if you keep simplifying it in very basic terms, he's basically just saying that we don't have free will because we're controlled by the three modes of material nature, basically. But he was establishing it in a way that we are lacking free will because whatever we say is conditioned by school, by the parents, the language we use, the way we think, just like another, who was it that said this? I think it was actually Richard Dawkins, who's also one of the most famous atheists, but he's more like a low-class style atheist, like he always attacks the other person. But this young guy from Oxford, this British boy, he's very kind and peaceful and he listens very humbly and then he gives his point of view, but very respectful. So he's more popular because he's not rude. But Richard Dawkins said, he said, which also a point which we accept as devotees, that it doesn't matter what you think you believe. If you were born somewhere else, you'd be thinking something else. He says, if not, then why is 90% of the people born here thinking like this and you're thinking this? You're saying you're Christian, but if you were born in Saudi Arabia, you wouldn't be saying those things. So then do you actually have free will or you're conditioned? Because the thing you believe in, the thing you're strongly talking about is conditioned by where you were born. So actually, what is our free will? And then when we study the concept of the three modes, we understand how the three modes compromise our free will. We don't have free will if you want to eat or not eat, right? Can you not eat?
No.
It's not easier. It's like for me, it's not easier. So in the same way, there are many things we don't have free will to do. So our free will, in our philosophy, we actually say we don't have free will. There's only two options. You either completely are surrendered to Krishna or you're surrendered to the modes. But there is not free will outside of these two categories. This is what we actually say in Krishna consciousness. This is what Krishna is. So our concept of free will is similar to actually that atheist, because in his paradigm there is no metaphysics. So if you're only speaking in the world of physics and you say there is no free will, we also say only within the what is called Jada Maya, which means material nature, if the soul is there, then there is no free will. Therefore Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, anyone remember the Sanskrit? Mama Maya, this verse? Yeah, so please explain now. In any words, it doesn't have to be the exact Prabhupada's translation.
That this divine energy of mind, Krishna says, is duratya, very difficult to overcome. But Mamevaya Prabhupada, the one who surrenders unto me, Mayametam Taranti, can easily go beyond it, conquer it.
So correct. So the word Krishna uses duratyaya. So I don't know in Swedish, but you know in English you have the word durability. So dur means how something lasts. Like in Latin, duro means hard. So that comes from the Sanskrit dur, which means hard or difficult. And yaya means to go, so it's very hard to go out of. So therefore Durga is the mother of the material nature. Actually in the material world, in the material sphere, God is a female, she's called Durga. Durga Mata. She's the actually supreme in charge of the material world. Because Krishna is not touching the material world, he's transcendent. So the job of in charge of the material world is Durga. And another meaning how they translate Durga, Yaya means to go and Ga also means go. The English word go comes from Ga in Sanskrit actually, according to universities. So Durga also is translated as a prison, right? So if you're in a prison, do you have proper free will? What do you think? Do you have free will in the prison?
No.
It's very limited, right? So you cannot leave the prison. So what is the only way which you can leave the prison?
Being released.
Yeah, if someone gets the key and unlocks the door, right? So in the same way, this is why in spiritual life, association is very important, because in order to escape this conditioned nature, this conditioned existence which we are in the material world, you need association to help to bring that key to unlock and get you out. So sometimes the analogy is given that to surrender to spiritual reality is like when you're in a well. Has anyone heard this before? This Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he describes. It's a very nice topic, but the simplified form is that in the well, you cannot escape from a well, because the well has very steep walls and there's nothing to hold on to, so you can't get out of the well. And then sometimes it's also closed on top when they're not taking water out. So how do you get out of the well is they have to throw a rope into the well. But is the throwing the rope enough? What do you have to do? What do you think? And what's your name again? The younger guy? Yeah. No, you.
Ayushi.
Ayushi. So what is the way you get out of the well? They throw a rope and then?
You have to grab it.
You have to hold on. So this is our Vaishnava Siddhanta, that because some people debate that you don't have to do anything, it's just only mercy. Some people say it's only karma, it's only by activity. So we say that actually the Guru or the Sadhu or the pure devotee has to give you their association, their mercy, but you also have to do your part. You also have to hold on to get out of the well. And that is how we escape this misidentification with matter, which is a big topic, because misidentification that I am the body is the cause of actually suffering in this world. So the way to become free of suffering is to not think I am this, I am that, not to be affected by what other people think, and then not to react about how other people think, but to understand I am not what I think I am not what you think I am what Krishna says I am. So this is only the materially conditioned person thinks like this. So this is, anyone who speaks Spanish? Some of you speak Spanish, right? But this may be hard to translate. But there is a very popular saying in Spanish language. They say, "Dime con quién andas, yo te diré quién eres," which means that tell me who you go with. Andas literally means walk, so I put a picture of people walking. and I will tell you who you are. So association is very important. Just as we learned that our sense of free will is very much curbed in this world by who we mix with. Many people think I'm free to enjoy certain things, and then when they enjoy them, they actually lose their freedom because they start to become controlled by that thing. We become addicted to that thing, we become dependent on that thing to give us peace. Even though we were kind of peaceful already, we thought this thing will give me some sense of higher experience, and then later on we do not enjoy it. So there is a nice analogy in, anybody been to Brazil? Anybody been to Brazil? Anybody want to go? I can take you in. So in Brazil there are lots of monkeys, just like you may go to India, different parts of Asia, you see monkeys. So in Sweden they have monkeys, but they're called politicians, that's a different thing. But so the monkey is very, very attached to bananas, right? So you learn this in school. You may not see monkeys in Sweden, but you learn it in school, right? The monkeys, they like bananas. The dog, stereotypically they say they like to chew bones. So a monkey, they have a type of pot which is round, and the hole is very small, but the pot is very big. So what they do is they put the banana inside the pot at the bottom of the pot, but to pull the banana out is very difficult. So because the entrance of the pot is very small, like a banana is long, but the entrance is more like the width of the banana, not the length. So the monkey can put his hand in to try to get the banana, but when he tries to pull it out, he cannot get his hand outside of the pot. So then he's just holding on to the banana. I'm not going to let go until I get the banana. And then they come and capture the monkey, and then they put chains, and then they make it into a performance, like they have these performing animals. So this is the way they capture the monkeys. So in the same way, this is the material nature, that it seems very sweet, very nice, it will give you a lot of pleasure, a lot of happiness, but after a short amount of time, you cannot actually have it. It's a bit like if I give you a donation, I say, let me put some money in your bank. So I put 1,000 euros in Shami's bank, 10,000 crowns. So you can keep the money, but the second you try to withdraw, it disappears. So that's the nature of the material world. You can be attached to something, but when you want to cash the check and become happy, nothing happens. So this is the nature. So therefore, who we associate with is very important, because if we associate with material concepts of trying to become happy, we will have the facade that this will give me something, but when I actually want to enjoy it, then after a very quick amount of time, I realize we're actually stuck, and it's not going to give me what I want. So then there's another very famous saying. This is in sociology. Jim Rohn, he's a very nice man, you can meet him. I'm just kidding. So you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So this is what even people in this world are saying. That who you are is influenced by the 5 people you spend the most time with. Just like if you spend time with people who are, Prabhupada gives the example, who are into drinking alcohol, you go to school with them every day, you go to work, then you end up becoming influenced. I have so many friends, they said, oh, I hate to drink, it's horrible. But then they go to work, and after a few years they start drinking also. So I have some friends like that in the UK. So many of us, we may experience this, that we have certain ideals, but when we hang out with a certain type of person, then our ideals become compromised. So it's not enough simply to have belief, but you have to also create a support system to not necessarily belief, but values. So you need a support system to preserve those values. Just like if you like ice cream is very nice, no? But as soon as you take it out of the fridge, it starts to melt. So ice cream is good when it's hard, when it's ice. But as soon as it associates with the inappropriate environment, it loses its nature. And then, but if you put it back in the correct environment, then after a long time, it can pick up its nature again. So in the same way, Prabhupada gives the example. He said he was walking in England, I think it was St. James Park. So luckily in England, we're not as unfortunate as Sweden. We don't have so cold weather. I'm just kidding, Sweden is nice. So, but he was walking in the park. England, we rarely get ice, but on this day there was a layer of ice. So he got his walking stick and he was hitting the ice. And then he was saying, just see, this is like the conditioned soul. So they were thinking, what's he on about? Ice. Doesn't make sense. What is similar between ice and us? So Prabhupada said, the natural state of water is that it flows, is that it's fluid. But on association with the material energy, on association with the coal, then this water has become hardened. So in the same way, the soul, by nature, is very soft, it's very loving, it's very much connected to God. But on association with the material world, just like ice becomes hard on association with the cold, so by associating with the cold and dark nature of the material world, the heart becomes very hard, and then we no longer feel any feelings towards Krishna. We see the deity, but there's not much difference. If we see the deity, we see a picture of Justin Bieber, we see a picture of Donald Trump, they're all just images. We don't feel anything. If you come in front of the deity and you don't feel emotion, then you're not actually seeing the deity. So that's why spiritual life is a very serious thing. So Prabhupada was explaining that by associating with with coal, the water turns into ice. So us, when we associate with the material nature, then our soft heart becomes very hard. Why? Because of lust. Lust means material desire. Material desire means selfish desire. So on association with the body and material nature, we start to think that I can only get peace, I can only get happiness if I can accumulate experiences, objects and pleasures which will make me happy. So we try to fill water in the sieve. You know what is a sieve? Or colander they say. So it's like when you have spaghetti, for example, you put it in the sieve and then you put water to wash out, to cool it down, wash out the starch, and then you let the sieve for a few seconds and all the water clears, and then you put it back in the pot. So you can clear the water from the sieve, but it looks like a pot. But when you put water, it just comes out. So this is the nature of the material energy. We put so much, I want to get happy with this, but none of it works. So there is a game, I think it's called Jack in the Box. Does anyone know this game? Or Whack-A-Mole? You heard of this game? So you see, children before they invented cellular device games, they used to go to arcades and game places to play. Just like, what was this place when we were driving here? It was like some very big arcade with go-karting and everything. Right? When we were driving from the airport. Yeah. So there are many of these places for kids. So there's one game where there are many holes, and then there's there's a mole, which is a type of animal. So its head pops up, and then you have to whack it. And then it pops up somewhere else, you have to whack it. And it comes up very fast. So whoever hits the most amount of heads, they win the game. So material nature is like that. You try to whack the mole and then you think, I found the solution, then another problem will come up. And then you whack that one, another problem comes up. So these are the different analogies given. So these are common questions which we hear related to association. So Dhruva, can you read one very loud, the first one?
If single association is so good, why do I need feel anything or observe people who don't change?
Yeah, so it should have been, why do I not feel anything or observe people who don't change? So sometimes we think, oh, the association with the spiritualist is good, but then I went and I sat with this so-called saint, but I'm still the same, so it doesn't seem like it works. And then, so like the next one. So who would like to read the next one? Would you like to read number 2? Very loud?
Can it be just association with the words, books or audio?
So sometimes you wonder, does association with the spiritualist, can it be just enough to read the words, the books, and listen to the audio also, right? So, and then the third one, Lakshman can read.
Why shouldn't I mix with people at school or work intimately?
So this is a very good question also about association. Sometimes they say, my parents, these devotees, they're so fanatic, you know. What's wrong with hanging out with my school friends and mixing intimately with them? Or most of you are not working yet, some of you are. So then you say the same thing, that, oh, I'm at work, why can't I go to the pub with my school friends? I'll just take 7-Up. What's wrong with that? So I can tell you one nice story related to this point, which is a good realization for me actually. So I grew up in the movement, we went to Gurukul at the Mana, Bhakti Mana. And then but I never liked school. I hated authorities, I didn't like to be in a closed environment. So I always hated school. So my parents had to pay because the Gurukul at the Mana was not free, because obviously it's private. So you have to pay a few £100 a month. So they said, if you're not even enjoying it and we're wasting all this money, why don't we change school and you can try another school to see if you're happy there. So then I went to another school, same problem. Then I realized I just hate school. Actually, in that school, I ran away from the school a couple of times, and then the teachers had to come and catch me and call my parents, and then my parents chastised me, don't run out of the school. I was like in year 1 or 2. So how old are you then? It's like quite young. So, and then the secondary school also I didn't like. University I kind of liked because it's not so controlled, and it was a topic which was easy for me. So university I tolerated, but I hated school. So growing up in the movement, you have certain advantage that if you don't have samskaras mean impressions in the mind, then it's not so difficult to avoid things. But once you have a samskara, it's very difficult to avoid things. Therefore they say, in Alcohol Anonymous, they say the difference between 0 drinks and 1 drink is more than 1 to 2. Because once you've opened the door to something, then the door is always open. You can close it, but it can swing open very easily. But once you've kept it locked from day one, it's very hard to open that door. But as soon as you open it the first time, then it becomes very easy. So sometimes they think, I'll just have 1 drink. I'm not going to get addicted from 1 drink. And then later on, it comes to 2, 3, 500, 1,000, and then they can't stop. So in that sense, spiritually, in some ways, I'm quite strong. I never took any drugs, never took any alcohol. So I was preaching in Miami, so we made quite a few devotees there. So there was one girl, she was called, anyway, I should have name dropped in case it goes on the internet. But, so she joined, even she took initiation. So we had a yoga teacher training course. So I took the course, then afterwards, then we have some friends, like our friends group. So they invited, so I was kind of like, me and there was another devotee who was called Yashoda. We were the 2 devotees in our group, and then this other girl, she became devotee. And then one of the teachers in that course, we also made her devotee, so a few people. So we all went to this graduation party. It was in Miami, so there's a nice pool, a swimming pool, and then they're all drinking. So I said, okay, I'll go for half an hour, they're my friends, no problem. So I went, and they're all drinking, didn't even feel 0% attraction. And my friend Yashoda, he also was a little bit mature, so he didn't feel anything. But this girl who was new, she was very agitated because she only just joined a few months ago, and now everyone is drinking. So then she actually fell down and stopped being devotee after that program. So then I very much regretted that. Even though I'm strong, I can go there, I can be with them for 20 hours, nothing will happen. And my friend also, nothing happened, he's still devotee. But because she was very new and she had so much background of drinking, the association in that environment, again, she lost her strength. So therefore, this is something related to that. And then what is the best way to associate is another important question we can ask. And then the last one is, why can't I do it alone? Why do I need association? So we already discussed that a little bit. So these are some common questions. So I will just read some different points about this. So Srila Prabhupada used to quote this very nice verse. It's like a part of a poem. That Janame Janame Sabe Pita Mata Pai, Krishna Guru Nahi Mile, Bhaja Hari Ai. That birth after birth, we always get a mother and a father. We always get school, we always get a job. We always get many, many things. This is at least in the human life. If you're an animal, at least you'll get a mother and father. So every birth we have a mother and father. So that's good. That's one level of piety. That's called material piety. To be a good son, to be a good mother, be a good father, to be a good subject in the government, etc. But more important than that is Krishna Guru Nahi Mile Bhaja Hari Ai. But if in this birth you do not actually connect with Krishna and Guru, then what is the point of your life? Therefore, this is how, I don't know if Prabhupada actually said it, literally these words, it came from Hindu Maharaj's article. Under ordinary circumstances, one's own mother and father are worshipable. But in every species, one gets a father and mother. So it's not such a special thing, right? Just like if you go to school, what is the school which everyone goes in Sodartanya? What is the name? Or Jana. Where do you guys go to school? Most of you? Jana?
Örjan skolan.
Örjan skolan and gymnasium. How they say? So imagine you go to the school and you say, I'm a very special person in this school. I'm the only one with a phone. Well, what will people think? They think you're crazy, we all have phones. So in the same way, having mother and father is very nice, is very special, but in the same time, everyone has a mother and father. But every species has a mother and father. But there is something which is a very, very rare gift, which is the association of Krishna and the Guru. And that is what actually transforms this life. So therefore, the spiritual master can bestow prema bhakti to those who have attained his mercy. Therefore, he is the topmost father, mother and friend of everyone. So even if you grow up and your parents passed away, or you have divorced parents, or you don't get to see one of them, etc., actually just by associating with Krishna, Krishna explains that Pitaham Asya Jagato Mata Data Pitamaha. That Krishna says, don't worry, I'm also your father. Even he says, I'm your mother. Even he says, I'm your grandparent. And then he also has Suridam Sarvabhutanam. He's the best friend of all people. So actually all relationships, they can be consolidated just in associating with Krishna. So you may have, father disappeared, mother disappeared, somebody passed away, grandparents passed away. You have husband, wife, or boyfriend, girlfriend, they disappear, so many things. But actually, the more you become connected to Krishna, the less you need, the more you can fulfill those relationship categories just alone with Krishna and Guru. So actually, this is what he's saying, that actually association is so important because all of your needs can be fulfilled just by associating with Krishna. So therefore, it's quite long, we have limited time. So I will just summarize, let's see. So I'll just summarize this very quickly, that Prabhupada is saying that in this life, everyone is suffering. So the solution to suffering is to question, why am I suffering, right? So life after life, we realize that I have to find some deeper knowledge. So luckily, the spiritualists, they get to learn that I am something deeper than the body. Therefore, I do not need to chase pleasures of the body, but I need to chase pleasures of the self. And then we gradually come to this process of understanding the spiritual energy, the Paramatma and Bhagavan. So this is all done by association with pure devotees. The inquisitive, the distressed, the seeker who wants material enjoyment, and the person who wants knowledge, they all become transformed just by association. So just for time, I won't read the whole thing. So many of you know this story. I think Keshav Maharaj actually told it the last time he was here, right? Anyone remember? So you can see, who is it on the left?
Bhakti Siddhanta
Yeah.
Saraswati.
So then who is it on the right? Shouldn't be too hard to figure out. What do you think? Can anyone say? Apart from the people who obviously know. Malati, do you know who that is?
Gard Das Babaji.
See, very intelligent. So in actually the year 1900, I only learned this today when I made this lecture. In the year January 1900, it was when Bhakti Siddhanta, he took initiation from Kishore Das Babaji, from the instructions of his Shiksha Guru, his instructing spiritual master, which was also his father. It's a very nice story, how he became a disciple. He had to work very, very hard, and it was not something this Babaji Maharaj wanted to do, was to give initiation, but because of such a powerful request and example, he gave him initiation. So he gave him 3 instructions. He told him that do not go to Calcutta, which is a place of Kali, which is a materialistic place. In the east side of the British Empire, Calcutta was the capital, so it was a very influential city, but it was a very materialistic place as well, as all big cities are. So he said, do not go there, because it's a very bad influence, it's a city full of materialism. And then he says that do not take too many disciples, because there is one injunction that it's not good to take too many disciples. So he said not to do that. And then the third instruction he said was that do not associate with wicked-minded persons, materialistic-minded persons. So many of you may know his story that he spent a lot of time in Calcutta, even though his guru said not to do it. So he's quite, apparently he seems like a bad disciple. Huh? His guru says don't do it, and then he does the exact thing. And his main headquarters was also there in Calcutta. There was one temple, Bagh Bazaar, very famous. And then he says that do not take many disciples, but Bhakti Siddhanta had disciples in the tens of thousands. Srila Prabhupada initiated on paper around 4,600 disciples. A few may be missing, few hundred, because they didn't write everyone down. But Bhaktisiddhanta took tens of thousands of disciples. Unfortunately, I don't think they kept such good records, so we don't know exact numbers, but it's in the tens of thousands, especially giving Harinam. So he gave many people initiation, but his guru said not to do that, so he broke the instruction. And then the third one, he said don't associate with wicked-minded people, which means people who are doing activities which are abominable, just like slaughtering animals, taking harmful things to their own body, and acting in ways which are exploiting Mother Nature, exploiting other people, in other words, materialistic business ventures and political ventures like the British, like some of the kings, some of the Muslim kings there. So Bhaktisiddhanta was very actually close with some of the British government, like his father, who were running India, and they used to come to Mayapur even, they used to come and visit him in Mayapur. And even he arranged that some outside caterers, they deliver meat for these people in the dam, which is generally offense to consume sinful things in the dam. But he did it because he was building relationships with them to expand his movement. So sometimes they say, Prabhupada used to say, that when you milk a cow, you have to tolerate once in a while you may get kicked by the cow. Has anyone heard that saying? It's a saying in India. So in order to get something good, sometimes you have to take a hit on something bad. Just like sometimes they say, especially boys, they say, take one for the team. Have you heard this saying? So you have a team, so everyone wants to get something, but sometimes someone has to not get it. Like say there's pizza, there's not enough for everyone, so everyone gets 2 slices, but one only gets 1. So sometimes you have to sacrifice in order to get something better, take one for the team. So Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, he did all of these things. So in summary form, why did he have so many disciples? He says, I did not take so many disciples because I am their disciple actually. So in that sense, he didn't take any disciples because he was considering himself genuinely that I am the disciple of them. I am the servant of all. And then he says, I didn't go to Calcutta because to go to Calcutta means to enter in the consciousness of Calcutta, but I only went there to preach Krishna consciousness. And when you preach Krishna consciousness, Krishna is present. So wherever Krishna is present is the Dham, it's the holy place. And then the third one, he said, I never associated with any of these wicked-minded people. So this is the point now for today, that association, it means to take something from someone. But I never took anything from these people, I only delivered Krishna consciousness to them. So this is a very powerful story. So these are some other points related to affection, which I learned over the different years. So in Mayapur I heard this, sorry, I put also a grammatical error there. Anyway, association means to associate with affection. So just like you may wonder that how come you associated with those people in that celebration where they were drinking and this other new devotee did, but one of them had one effect, one of them had another effect. Why? It's your psychology. Do you have affection for drinking alcohol? If not, then when you see it, you will not feel attracted, right? So attraction is based on affection. Affection means, how Tribhunath Prabhu explains, expectational psychology. We have a psychology that if this thing comes into my purview, into my field of enjoyment, it will give me a certain reaction. I will feel a certain way. So affection means that we are attached to something thinking it will give me some pleasure, give me some peace, give me some satisfaction. But if you do not have affection for something, then you do not associate with it. Just like Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he did not feel affection for the habits of these materialists. Therefore, although they came to spend time with him, they became influenced by him, but he didn't become influenced by them. So influence happens when there is affection, otherwise influence does not take place. So it's not a physical thing, which was one of the questions in the previous slide, but it is a psychological thing actually, how you associate with somebody. Therefore, association means also to have a service attitude. So if you want to take association from someone, then you serve them. So it works 2 ways. If you serve materialists, then you start to, your psychology starts to lean towards them. Oh, they're so senior. Because when you serve somebody, you're taking them as superior. And when someone is superior, then association flows down, influence flows down. So in the same way, we should not serve the wants of materialists. That's why it says, anybody who delivers meat, who cooks meat, who serves meat, they're also part of the karma of eating meat, the same type of karma. Everyone takes one chunk of the karma because it's connected. So in the same way, on the spiritual platform, if you want to associate with saints and sages, we have to associate with affection and with the service mood. Therefore, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta used to teach that if you want to hear from a sadhu, what is the way to hear? You just listen and then it goes out the other side? What do you think? It just flows out the other side? How do you associate? By hearing. So Srila Bhaktisiddhanta explains that hearing with a service inclined ear. This is the real way to associate. Just like the spiritual life starts with association, so the 9 processes of bhakti, they start with Shravana, the first one. So hearing and association, they're intimately linked. So this is all connected. So now we can see, this is another very important verse. That sadhu sangha, sarva shastra koi, lava mata sadhu sangha, sarva siddhi hoy. So we have about 5 more minutes, so I will just go a little bit faster. So the verdict of all revealed scriptures is that even by a moment's association with a pure devotee, one can attain all success, just like we heard from our Indra Prabhu. So I was going to tell this story, but it's a very long story. But Srila Prabhupada went to Russia, but he could not get a visa for very long. I think it was only 3 days, right? Or 2 days? Someone remember the number? I cannot remember now. Huh?
I think it was 5 days.
Yeah, some number of days, very short. Normally they give you visa like 3 months or 6 months. So he could have preached there for 6 months. He could have opened a temple. But in 2, 3 days, 5 days, you can't really do anything. But Prabhupada was so powerful, there was one devotee who was called Ananta Shanti later on. He met Shama Sundar and someone else, who was it?
Yeah, the boy from the Indian.
Yeah.
It's only Shama Sundar.
There was 2 people I think he came with. Anyway, I can't remember. I have the story, but I cannot read it now because of time. So anyway, he came, one new person came to them because he saw there were some spiritual people, Hare Krishna people, and they took him to see Srila Prabhupada. And just for a couple of days in the hotel room, Prabhupada was preaching to this person. And this person, just in a few short days, became a very serious devotee, and because of him, now we have tens and tens of thousands of devotees in Russia. Just from one man having a few hours of association with Srila Prabhupada. So one can attain all success. So therefore, what do you think of this picture? So this is actually, it looks quite real, but it's AI, as you can tell by the tilak and stuff. So they say association is not just physical proximity, just like a fly may sit on the Guru's face. But the real one who has closeness with this pure devotee, with the sadhu, is one who understands the mood and the mission of the Guru and executes that. That is the real intimacy. Because to intimate with skin is actually the most external part of the body, right? But what is the deepest part of the body? What do you think? Can anyone say? If not, you can look at my hand and then you'll see. The heart, right? The most intimate way you can associate with someone is to touch their heart. Even one word can touch somebody's heart. Just like you may do a performance and then one of your favorite people, maybe some celebrity, some politician, maybe some guru, they come past and they say, "You sung," and they say, "Amazing," and then they continue walking. That can change your life, isn't it? So just one word, if it touches the heart, it can make a transformation. But a fly on your face, even though it's so close, it will never change because it's associated in the wrong way. So therefore, this is the final slide. So we can try to actually recite this together. What do you think? You want to give it a try? We'll do it slowly. Satam prasanga mama virya samvido bhavantirit karna rasayana katha tajjosana dasu apavarga varmani shraddharatir bhakti anukramishati. Therefore, the Srimad Bhagavatam states, in the association of pure devotees, discussion of the pastimes and activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is very pleasing and satisfying to the ear and the heart. By cultivating such knowledge, one gradually becomes advanced on the path of liberation, and thereafter he is freed and his attraction becomes fixed. Then real devotion and devotional service begin. So this is why it's very, very important to understand association. Whoever we understand, whoever we associate with, we become, right? What was the saying? Show me the 5 people you are with and that's who you become. Isn't it? So in the same way, whatever we associate with, we become that. So when you associate with pure devotees, you become purified, you become devotional. And therefore, when you hear such activities of Krishna, then you become very satisfied, both through the ear, which means your intelligence becomes purified, your mind becomes purified, and also it flows down to your heart, and your heart becomes purified. And heart becomes purified means your only desire is to serve, and you wish the best for everyone, which is what is the highest thing in our self-interest, is actually to realize who are we, where do we come from, and who is the original object of love. And then from that point, devotion and devotional service can begin. So this is the conclusion. So is there any questions, comments, protests, reflections? Thank you very much. Yeah?
When you had the slide with the questions on it,
Yeah.
and one of the questions was, is it enough to have just books and the audio? That was the third thing.
Yeah.
So the words, books and the audio. So what is the answer to that?
Yeah, we didn't cover that. Good, thank you for mentioning. So these are common questions generally people always ask. So association, you can also associate through the, what we call in Sanskrit, Vani. Vani means the words and the books and the audio of pure devotees. But at the same time, there is no replacement for associating with the Vapu also. There is no replacement, especially when you want to take initiation and when you want to follow the process. Once they asked Srila Prabhupada, is it enough just to read your books and we don't need a guru? Then Prabhupada said, no, the physical guru is also very important because he can pull your ear. So in the same way, books, words and audio are very good, but in one sense, unless you're a pure devotee, everything goes from static to ecstatic. But if you're not a pure devotee, then words, books and audio, they're a static flow. They cannot give you direct revelation necessarily. They cannot give you direct instructions, personal instruction. That's why the guru is very important. That's why Krishna himself, he took a guru. That's why Lord Ram took a guru. Because when you take a physical guru, they can give you personalized instructions and help. So of course, if you do not have that, still this is very good. And still Krishna is there inside. So if you're on a desert island and you only have these 3 things, then you can become pure devotee. But why settle only for this if you can get even more? So the devotee, he's not looking for the minimum requirement, he's looking for the maximum. So words, books and audio we should associate with, just like everyone, my dear friends know, that I have spent many, many hours studying, but at the same time, association is also one of the priorities. So you should have many, many Shiksha Gurus, you should have many, many mentors, many, many guys in your life. Just like I have many, which they all know, I talk about so many of them. Like he also mentioned Navina Nirendra Prabhu, he's also one of my mentors. Then another one who came here, Vichara Prabhu, he's also, I can give a big list, like 10, 15 people. Adi Karta Prabhu also came here, right? Or you saw him somewhere. He's also one of my mentors. So we have so many. But we should take mentors, we should take Shiksha Gurus, and we should also read books, words, and listen to audio. So all of them. The devotee should be greedy for nectar, like a bee. The bee, it goes to one flower, and then what does it do after one flower? It gets more and more and more. So we should be eager to listen to Prabhupada, we should be eager to listen to our devotees in the temple. It's not that, oh, he's a devotee, he's a new guy, I'm not going to go to his class. We should be eager to listen to him, to her. We should be eager to listen to Prabhupada. We should be eager to listen to our initiating guru and other gurus also. So in this way, we get a very full spiritual life. So yes, Krishna is dynamic, so he can reveal himself just through one sentence, but at the same time, we should try to learn and study under people in real life, if we have the option, which we do nowadays. So any other thoughts, questions, realizations? What did you learn, Bhima? Anything?
That I should associate.
Wow, very nice. Thank you. Well, Bimal, this is the last question, then we'll end. So, Bimal, why is this not good?
I don't know.
Is it enough to be a fly on the Guru's face, or how do you associate with the Guru?
Affection.
Wow, amazing. And such an amazing. He's learning so nicely. So thank you very much. So any further question, or everyone is satisfied now? So thank you very much. I guess we will say Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Sadhu Sangha ki jai. Erasmus, autumn 2025, Almviks, Gard ki jai. Almviks God. Yeah, you can turn it off. Yeah. The whole time the mic was here, I made a mistake.